All right, what's up, boxing fans? It's Aztec 101 in the ring. I started this live stream a little bit late. Past couple days, I've been doing it around 1 o'clock. But I'm on here now, and I noticed that the undercard for the Floyd Mayweather McGregor fight is official. Gervonta Davis is going to be on the undercard. He's, right now 18-0. He just fought Liam Walsh and Jose Pedraza as well. He's fighting Francisco Fonseca, who is 19-0 with one draw. Now, Francisco, his first fight was a draw. It was against Eduardo Urbina, and I guess he got the draw in his first fight. 3 fights later, he fights him again, and he wins by TKO. So he was that one draw he was able to avenge. So currently, Francisco is 19-0. I think he's coming from Costa Rica. Gervonta Davis, he's he's a good prospect. I know he's a champion now. Once you earn the title, there's a fine line between a champion and a contender, and he's past the contender mode. So he's now, even though we're still keeping an eye on him, we really don't know how good he is. That's the one thing with champions nowadays, was the fact that we have so many belts, is that someone can pick up a belt and it still doesn't mean that they're championship caliber, doesn't mean that they're the strongest champion in the division. And it's not the end all be all on whether they're on top of the division either. I don't know what people think on the whole Gervonta Davis situation. As far as this fight, I know that people were looking towards Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer and Gervonta Davis been going back and forth, talking mad shit. So I thought that's the fight that was going to happen, especially seeing how Tevin Farmer is ranked number 5 while Francisco is ranked number 7. Let's see. Hey, what's up, boxing fan? Let's see here. Gonna fight somebody that's ranked lower than Liam Walsh in the IBF ranking. What a fuckery. I noticed that. Yeah, Liam Walsh is ranked. You're right. He's ranked number 6, and Francisco is ranked number 7. So even after the loss that Liam Walsh took to Davis, he's still ranked higher than Francisco. And boxing fan, I remember you were talking about Tevin Farmer. That's honestly the fight I thought was going to happen. And Tevin Farmer is ranked number 5. So I don't know if they're going to hold off on that fight, maybe postpone it, do it after this one. But I can kind of see why they would. I don't know if Francisco is a light touch. There's not too much footage of him out on YouTube. So I've been trying to do a little bit of research, trying to find out what his style is, and there's a few fights here and there, but it's kind of hard to tell if he's going to be a walkover or if he's going to be an actual, good fight. I think Floyd's intention will be to put Gervonta Davis on the undercard and make sure that he has an opponent where he can, just kind of walk over him, turn the fight into a highlight reel, and push forward from there. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to want to match him up against anyone tough. And I don't know. Who knows? Francisco might be able to pull off an upset. He's a small guy. He's very skinny. He's tall. His reach is pretty average. I don't see really anything too spectacular, but he does seem to have good boxing skills, good instinct. He goes to the body fairly well. But that's only based on the few fights that I've seen. So there's nothing much to say if you win this fight. Right. What will Davis learn from that? That's one thing, is that you're gonna have to sacrifice something. There's always a sacrifice, and with yeah, you're right. What is he gonna learn from this fight? How will that prepare him for Lomachenko or for anyone else that he wants to take on that's in his division? How would that help him if he ended up fighting Orlando Salido? Um, it's it's kind of one of the things that Floyd has to, like I was saying before. You can't let these fighters get ahead of themselves. So I get it, man. I'm sure Gervonta Davis probably feels like he's ready for Lomachenko now. Probably feels like he's ready for all the top dogs. But I think Floyd wants to gradually move him up. But he's champion now, so he's got responsibilities, and he's got to keep up this persona that he is the best. So I don't know. I don't know what's going. I think here's the thing. There's leeway in this fight because it's on the undercard of Floyd versus McGregor, and there's going to be nothing but casual boxing fans. They're not going to know who Gervonta Davis is, and they definitely don't know who Francisco is. So it's pretty easy to sell them Gervonta Davis, especially to a group of casual, not even boxing fans, just sports fans. And instead of risking it, putting Gervonta Davis against Tevin Farmer, and possibly having Tevin Farmer pull an upset in front of everybody, I don't think that's what they're going for. So they're definitely trying to keep the training wheels on for Gervonta Davis just a little bit longer. Let's see here. If you're going to fight, at least take one that is the highest ranked in the IBF. You know what the problem with the IBF is right now is that and you make a very good point, boxing fan. One of the biggest problems, though, is that they don't have they don't have anybody ranked at number 1 or number 2. So that's empty. They start at 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there's something off with the IBF. There's something wrong with the IBF. Yeah, there's an Australian. I think he's the highest ranked. You're right. And then there's the guy from Japan. I forgot his name. He's ranked number 2. There's also going to be a good fight I want you guys to look out for, and that's going to be Gilberto Ramirez versus Jesse Hart. Gilberto Ramirez, as you guys know, he's 35-0, 24 KOs. Jesse Hart, he's 22-0, 18 KOs. I didn't write down the date. I'll give you the date, definitely. I haven't written down the date though. I'm gonna do more videos on this, but this is a very good fight. Jesse Hart is a prospect, He's a tall guy, 6'3", with a 77.5-inch reach. Now Gilberto Ramirez is no slouch. I mean, he's a tall guy too. He's 6'2.5", with a 75-inch reach. This is a very even fight. I really like this fight. Jesse Hart has a lot of power in his right hand. He gets a little bit too comfortable with his right hand, so he doesn't really mix up any other shots. His hook, his left hook, he has a deceiving check left hook because his reach, the way he's able to move in and out. One thing I noticed is that he likes to stay out of the pocket, and then he visits the pocket for a split second, just enough for him to throw his jab and maybe follow with a right hand or a left hook, but he gets out right away. So he's not in danger for too long. Gilberto Ramirez, he's a solid boxer. He likes to stay in the pocket. He likes to pressure. He slowly breaks down fighters. So it's going to be interesting to see how Gilberto Ramirez is able to deal with Jesse Hart's footwork. And Jesse Hart doesn't have spectacular footwork, but he's able to move very, pretty well, pretty well. One thing I noticed that he does is he launches forward, lands the right hand or lands a jab, and then holds right away. And I like that. I like that. He does that a lot, and then he starts working on the inside. So Jesse Hart's definitely someone to keep an eye out for. If you want to watch any of his previous fights, the last one that I saw was the most recent, Alan Compa. Right. Hart versus Compa. Right. Exactly. And he also fought Aaron Pryor Jr. Aaron Pryor Jr. He destroyed him. Destroyed him. I know the announcers weren't really too happy with Jesse Hart's performance, but I thought he did what he needed to do to get the win without having to put himself in danger. Um, he's a very good fighter. I mean, I see a bright future with Jesse Hart. He seems like the type of guy that, as of right now, excuse me, I'm gonna light up my blunt real quick. Hold on. Man, I bought some weed yesterday. Bought some weed yesterday, and that shit had me stuck. 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 I started looking up fights, and I forgot what I was looking up, and this is some good shit. Let's see. Hart should join that super middleweight tournament in the UK. Hey, you know what? He should, but if he ends up beating Gilberto Ramirez, I think that I think that the sky's the limit for the guy. You know, this is one of the things where if Gilberto Ramirez beats Jesse Hart, um, it won't help Gilberto Ramirez too much. But if Jesse Hart is able to beat Ramirez, I think it opens up so many doors. Um, Plus, the guy has the frame to eventually, and I'm not trying to push him up to another division right away, but eventually, in a few years, he will be able to move up to light heavyweight, and he has a frame to do it. Ramirez versus Abraham. Uh, that was a good fight, and that was what helped Gilberto Ramirez kind of make a name for himself. Respectable win for Gilberto. Um, Also, the last fight too, which was against Max Bursak. Max Bursak. Now, so the undercard's been yeah, you should check that fight out. Check that fight out. It was the same night as, I think that fight aired the same night as which one was it? Berto versus Porter. Right, yeah. I think it was Berto versus Porter. And Top Rank had a card that they were showing from the StubHub Center. And it was Gilberto Ramirez versus Max Bursak. You had Oscar Valdez, who was fighting the guy that Lomachenko just beat. And you had Jesse Magdaleno. That was the night that Jesse Magdaleno called out Rigondeaux. I did a post-fight video on that. I don't see too many people talking about who's calling out Rigondeaux. But there are people out there. Rigo's got names he can go after. The one thing though, which is something I thought about, is that Magdaleno and Lomachenko are both with Top Rank, and hopefully Bob Arum just doesn't get in the way. You don't watch super middleweight? Yeah. You know what? I really don't follow the super middleweight division either. Um, to me, some of these divisions, they seem like the type of divisions where guys they're there for a short period of time and then eventually they move up. So 140 is just like that too. Sometimes the division is stacked though, but at 140 you'll see a lot of guys they play around that universe for a little bit and then they move up to 147. And a lot of guys at super middleweight, they'll do the same thing. They'll move up to light heavyweight, and it'd be nice to see the light heavyweight division be re-energized with some of these new fighters that are at super middleweight, because the light heavyweight division right now it's kind of stale. It's gone stale. You know what I mean? Donis Stevenson isn't trying to do anything. Andre Ward is there, but he's probably gonna retire. That's what I think. I mean, why wouldn't he? And then if those other belts go vacant, it'd be nice to see some of these young guys pick up those vacant titles. Let's see. They say Ward is gonna fight that Liverpool guy. I don't know, man. He was talking about going to heavyweight, So I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know what he's gonna do. Whatever it is, he's gonna do his own thing. He's gonna do his own thing. At this point, he's kind of walking around like, you can't tell me shit. I just fought. I just moved up to fight Kovalev. I did it twice. No one can tell me shit. I think that's kind of the position he's in, which he earned it. He earned it. Let's see here. Ward will get smashed in the heavyweight division. I think so. I mean, I think there's some heavyweights he might be able to put some work in on. There's some guys out there that they're powerful, but their endurance sucks. And someone like Andre Ward, who can go at 100% from the first round to the last, some of these heavyweights, man, they're going to have a really hard time with Ward. Like guys like Joseph Parker. Obviously, guys like, Ortiz, Povetkin, Anthony Joshua will punch a hole through Ward's chest. Deontay Wilder will cave Ward's face completely in. You know what I mean? It really wouldn't make any sense. But there are some guys that he can fight and he can make some history. Moving up from middleweight to heavyweight, that is some historical shit. That's some historical shit. Let's see here. AJ's overrated. AJ's overrated. I feel the same way, bro. To a certain extent, I understand and I respect AJ. But there's only so far one win can take you. And really, how impressive was that win against Klitschko? There's a lot of boxing fans are putting look, I get it. He's probably one of the more technical fighters in the heavyweight division right now. He's sharp. He's technically sound. But I don't know. Just to me, the guy to watch is Wilder. I have a lot more fun watching Wilder. I've seen him fight more often. I think Wilder's more dangerous. That's why I want to see them fight. I want to see that fight happen. I want to see if AJ really is that guy. Is he really that guy that they say he is? Because I don't know. I'm not quite believing it quite yet. Let's see here. You were shocked on how 40-year-old, how 40-year-old Vladimir outboxed him. Well, I mean, Klitschko's no joke, bro. Klitschko's no joke. Even in his age, he can still box. You know what I mean? But But Joshua got knocked down. He recovered from that, and he was able to knock out Klitschko. But Tyson Fury even though he didn't go for the knockout, or he wasn't able to knock out Klitschko. It seemed like he had an easier time with Klitschko than Joshua did. Joshua took a lot more damage. With Vlad would have win all 12 rounds with Wilder. There's only one person that's gone all 12 with Wilder. There's only one, and that was Stavern. You know what I mean? There's only one. Let's see here. Wilder, I think Wilder sleeps Klitschko, man. I think Wilder sleeps Klitschko, to be honest. Wilder lands that right hand on anyone and they're going to sleep. All right? That is like NyQuil. That shit's going to put you to sleep. Wilder has the heaviest hands in boxing. I mean, by far. I mean, how the fuck do you get to that many fights and only one guy's been able to survive all 12 rounds? You know what I mean? And there's a good chance that if they fought again, Klitschko could knock out Joshua. If Klitschko was able to close the fight when he knocked Joshua down, it would have been over. Stavern is C class. Stavern hasn't been fighting, and you know what? I don't remember anybody really talking down on Stavern when the fight was originally going to happen for the very first time between Wilder and Stavern. I remember that was a 50-50 fight. A lot of people had Stavern not just winning, but knocking out Wilder. They thought that Stavern was the real deal. I was already hearing about fights between Stavern, Ortiz, Stavern, and Klitschko and everyone else. Stavern didn't become C class until after he lost and disappeared and just didn't fight for the past couple years. He had no chance. I wish I didn't delete my prediction video. When I predicted, look, I did my prediction video and for that fight, and I predicted Wilder to win, right? But if you can tell by my review, I was going against the grain. Not too many people had Wilder winning. You were a fanboy if you were having, Wilder beat Stavern. That's one crazy thing about perspective. In the moment, certain things are a certain way, and then they change after a fight. And Stavern has gone from a good, let's say, B-level fighter, A- to a C-level fighter. He's not too many people really want to see Wilder fight Stavern. I don't mind it because say what you want, since Wilder has fought Stavern, who else has lasted 12 rounds against Wilder? Stavern's the only guy. Let's see. Stavern's resume was just as bad as Wilder's. I don't think Wilder has a bad resume. I keep hearing that Wilder has a really bad resume. I don't see a bad resume. I see there's fights that I still like him to have, but I don't see a bad resume. And you know what? The heavyweight division is a little bit different. It's a lot different than any other weight class. Any one of these bums can knock the champion out. We've seen this historically time and time again. A bum can come out of the woodwork and beat the living shit out of the champion because they're heavyweights. There's a There's a huge difference between the heavyweight division and all the other divisions. You see that happen less in lower weight classes. You'll see it less in middleweight, and at featherweight you'll see it rarely. Once in a blue moon. Usually the guy with the best technique is the one that wins, or the guy that has all the advantages. But in the heavyweight division, when they're outweighing each other sometimes 30 40 pounds. I mean, look how big what's his name, Baby Miller guy. That fool's huge. Let's see here. Rasclot. Wilder's resume is decent. You were talking about pre-Stavern. Right, right. And that was probably why a lot of people had Stavern winning the fight. Because of the resume. Before Stavern, there was really no one to highlight. And after Stavern, the only guy that you can highlight really is Stavern, and no one gives a shit about him anymore. Polish, Molina, Washington, Dupas, Areola. Well, guess what? Like Molina wasn't a bad fight. Molina wasn't a bad fight for him. And I don't think Washington was a bad fight for him. He wanted to fight Provannikov, and that didn't go through. Or not Provannikov, Povetkin. He wanted to fight Povetkin, and that didn't go through. His resume would be a lot better. It could be a lot better. You know what'll make it a lot better? Anthony Joshua. Having Anthony Joshua on his resume, no one can say shit. You know what? I wanted to talk about. Let's see here. I wanted to talk about McGregor asking for an international judge. For some reason, this is. I don't know why I want to talk about it. I guess I'm mostly confused on why it's a story. People are you have writers. They're fabricating articles. Well, it's not fabrication. It's probably true. McGregor does want an international judge, but why wouldn't he? Why is that news? Why is that news? You know what I mean? What's next? Are they going to report that McGregor wants, I don't know, towels and a stool for his corner too? This is fucking basic shit. What they're turning on this fight, they're turning everything into a story. Everything. This is just one big, this is what Golovkin used to call just a big drama show. That's all it is. Let's see here. McGregor just helping sell the fight. Oh, he's helping for sure. He's helping. And so are all the other writers that, especially boxing scene. Boxing scene is covering it. MMA, fuck, man. I haven't seen MMA websites talk more boxing than when it comes down to this fight. They never even touch on boxing. And now all of a sudden they have a fucking they have like 10, 15 articles. Not just talking about Floyd, but also talking about their undercard. Well-written articles. I'm not giving them shit, and here's the thing. This is probably one of those cause and effects of the fight where it might help boxing out. Now a lot of these MMA guys can possibly be introduced to some of the new boxers that are around them. Maybe they might fall in love with Gervonta Davis. You never know. Leading up to the fight, maybe they want to get to know who he is. They see some of his highlights. Definitely Gervonta Davis has impressive highlights. So yeah, this could be. I like that they have Gervonta Davis on there because he's gonna make the fight fun. He's gonna make the fight fun. Francisco, I don't know too much about him. And boxing fan, you made a good point. He's not ranked as high as Liam Walsh. Liam Walsh just took a loss from Davis. So I'm expecting Davis to just go in there, handle business, make it a good show, and hopefully everyone just falls in love with Davis and boxing ends up gaining some new fans. Oh yeah, all right, Rasclot, no problem, no problem, absolutely. Do what you got to do. I'm gonna make this one short just because I should have started this one earlier, but to be honest, um, I don't know. I didn't really feel like doing it. I was like, I'll do it in 15 minutes, and then I started doing something else, and then I'm like, I'll do it 15 minutes later. And tomorrow though, tomorrow I'm gonna have. I want to talk about. I'm gonna give you guys some things that I want to talk about tomorrow. Canelo had mentioned that if McGregor pulls off the miracle win, that Canelo's willing to fight McGregor. I want to know what you guys think about that. I'm also going to talk a little bit more about Gilberto Ramirez, Jesse Hart. I'm going to do a little bit of research on Jesse Hart. Watch some of his fights that I haven't seen before, and maybe do a full breakdown live with you guys. And we'll talk a little bit more about the undercard because there's also going to be Nathan Cleverly versus Bodu Jack. And Cruiserweight is going to have Andrew Tabiti versus Steve Cunningham. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, all right. All right, boxing fan. Hey, save it. Save it for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about Canelo, McGregor, all that shit. So just hold your thought until tomorrow. Damn. I'm struggling with this blunt. This shit's hitting me hard. All right, man. We'll meet back up tomorrow. I'll do it a little bit earlier, around 1 o'clock. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to cover, anything that, don't smoke too much. I won't, man. I won't. But yeah. If there's anything you want to cover, anything you want, any questions you want to ask, you can ask me. Any questions you want me to ask all the other viewers, that's, just let me know if there's, a direction you want to take this. But this is Aztec 101 in the ring. Have a good Thursday. I'm out.